Okay.
You are out of Farley already mentioned
I know, yes.
need your inhaler.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Space Committee meeting of May 13th. To begin, I need to do a little bit of housekeeping. This meeting of the Open Space Committee is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel. And in accordance with MGL Chapter 30A, subsection 20, I must inquire whether anyone else is recording this meeting, and if so, please make their presence known. Seeing none, I'm out of breath, sorry. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Ann Kennedy. I'm the chair of this committee, and we'll go around the table, and I would like also the people that are guests tonight to identify themselves. And the gentleman over there can, if he can find a space, he can join us at the table as well. So let's start with Alyssa.
The Crowley, Barnstable Village.
Lev Malakoff, Centerville.
Tracy Pratt, Katuitt.
Oh, Elizabeth Lewis, West Barnstable.
Well, let's start with, we skipped Janet.
Oh.
Go ahead, Janet.
Janet Milkman, Barnstable Land Trust.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Donald Reynolds, Marston's Lane, Cummaquid.
Deborah Reynolds, Marston's Lane,
Hi.
Cummaquid.
Marie Rizzo on Oakbond Road.
Yes?
Steve Rizzo,
Yeah.
Oakland Road, Cummaquid.
Alvina Baxter Moran, Marston's Lane, Cummaquid.
Okay.
Wellesley Marsh, Barnstable Village.
Okay.
Kris Clark, Town Council Liaison.
Do I have to say
Liz.
it again? Elizabeth Lewis, West Barnstable.
Ann Rowland, Centerville.
Orly Lewis, Hyannisport. Jenna Zeno, Administrative Assistant.
Well, thank you very much, and I'm glad to see that we have guests tonight, but we have to hear about the conservation restriction first, and then we'll move on to your issues. So may I introduce Miss Janet from Barnstable Land Trust.
Janet, teacher.
I mean, you're here a lot, so go
I
ahead.
forgot my apple.
Thank
It's all
you.
yours.
Thank you, Ann. And good evening, everyone. So we're here, I hope, for the last time for the Wheeler Road project. This is our last approval that we need. We are going to Town Council on Thursday evening for approval of the conservation restriction, after which we should be able to close on the project. So if we can, you've seen these slides before. I'll just put them up there
Everybody see?
for anyone from the public who's watching this. If you remember, this is just about a 10-acre property on Middle Pond in Marston's Mills. We can go to the next slide. And this committee reviewed the project a while ago and supported it. Now it's been subdivided into 3 lots. Basically, it was 2 lots, now it's 3. And that was done for various grant funding purposes, but the conservation restriction that you are reviewing are for Lot 1 and 2, which is the lot with the house on it, and then Lot 3, which is the lot that the town is purchasing the conservation restriction on to be co-held with the compact. So let's see, I'm not going to go through all the conservation values. It's an amazing property, former Holly Nursery on Middle Pond, spawning ground for the herring, which come up from, all the way up from Lewis Bay or up through the Marston's Mills River, Prince Cove maybe. And if we go to the next slide, just wanted to show you that we decided to put a CR over the entire property, and we have a special use area for the house because that is obviously a developed portion, but both we and the family wanted the, as much protection as possible to be provided by the CR. So if you remember, the house is going to be rented by BLT staff, who are going to also serve as caretakers for the property. And if we just go to the next, I just have a photo in here to show you where the public access is going to be. So there will be a trail on the property. Access to the trail will be from Fuller Farm, where there's ample parking, and you'll be able to walk through Fuller Farm. This photo is showing the trail going up through, the trail will go through those trees that you see there.
Where the mowed area is?
Yeah, the mowed area is the existing trail. We'll be putting a trail through the trees and then circling around the property and coming back out to the Fuller Farm Trail. And I think that's it for my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions on the specifics of the CR.
Are there any questions? Okay, my question is, how do you want us to move this? By lot, by restriction?
Sure, why don't, Lot 1 and 2, and then Lot 3.
So could I have a motion from the committee on Lot 1 and 2? The approval, recommending the approval to the town council.
Move to recommend to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Is there a motion to approve to recommend the approval of Lot 3 to town council?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Janet. I'll get the letter out tonight.
Oh, that's terrific. Thank you so, so much. Really appreciate that and all your support on this project.
Yeah.
Well, it's,
compliments full of-
we've already, the reason this has been so quick is that we've already reviewed this at one time.
Yeah.
So it's just coming up again before the town council, so this is why we have a more recent approval.
And I just wanted to give you a heads up that we'll be coming back with the 4609 Falmouth Road, which is the 5.5-acre parcel between Villaggio and Capizzi on Route 28.
Okay.
It's in Zone 2, was slated for a 40B development, and the Water District brought it to our attention.
Oh, okay. Is that a Katuitt Water District?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with that one.
So, another good project.
Yeah.
Abuts an existing BLT
Okay.
parcel as well.
Well, you might want to hang around for this conversation. I don't know.
Okay.
So we have guests as a little bit of a background. I'd like to talk a little bit about background. I received a number of emails. I think most of the people are here. Requesting that this committee look into a few parcels that are threatened in Cummaquid Heights. These are on Oakmont Avenue. As you come off Althea Drive and you turn right, these would be on the right. From the west to the east, they would be identified as, and correct me if I'm wrong here. Thank you. Yes, that was a map that Barnstable Fire District. Then there's the parcel that was owned by the, do you have that to show? Yep.
There you go.
Okay, so the Barnstable Fire District.
Thank you, Kris.
Then this one is one that was owned by the Barnstable Housing Authority, sold to Marty Riley.
Right.
And I have to disclose that I work for a real estate firm that was associated with Marty before he died very suddenly. And this is now being handled by Compass Real Estate.
Correct, and I did
Then the
confirm.
next parcel's privately owned. The 119 is privately owned by Mr. Cleary. Then the town owns parcel 105, and then the 87 is really the one we're talking about tonight, which is the Cobb Trust parcel. Now, the Cobb Trust, as most people know, it's not a town entity, other than it was formulated, the trust was created when Enoch Cobb died in the 1800s, and his estate was left to the benefit of the school children. So the town is associated with it through the involvement with the school district. But there's a trustee that's appointed by the town manager, and at this point it's Steve Hesslinger. And it is his job to maximize the property that's owned by the trust for the benefit of the school kids. So it's used to be that the wood out of the woodlots were sold and would be used to purchase books and supplies for the school kids. Well, obviously now we're not selling wood from the woodlots, and he's looking for ways to maximize the value. And so he has done an approval not required division of the property into 7 lots, 4 lots, excuse me, it's 7 acres. 4 lots, the biggest lots are 2 acres, and it's a 1 acre zoned area, so there are some that are a little over 1 acre. So he's done his due diligence, and this is his job to do that. And he was trying to, in his words, I think, minimize the impact to the neighborhood by offering up not 7 lots, but 4, and offering them up for market rate housing, so not affordable housing. But of course, it could be sold for affordable housing. So, so that's where we are at as far as what the background is. So I know that you all, that we have representatives here from the Cummaquid Heights that I think would like to see that parcel opened, obtained for open space.
Correct.
But I will point out that the town owns that parcel under municipal use. So you cobble those two and you might have a good affordable housing lot. So that's your risk. So anyway, you have the floor. Whoever would like to do the speaking, and we're all ears.
If you don't mind, I'll carry the ball.
Talking to the microphone, if you could. This is not for amplification. This is for, it goes out to the TV land.
That's right, and this is really just for information. We were referred to this committee by Felicia
Yep.
from the town council. We emailed
Yep.
her and asked who should we talk to, and she referred us to you.
Yep.
So when we look at all of this together, there's a water aspect to this area.
Yep.
Under the 1994 USGS study of potential future public water supply areas, this is the last remaining area in Cummaquid Heights. There were 2 others. There were a total of 3 that they had designated in the 1994 study.
Yeah.
And and 2 of them are gone. They've been developed. So when we started looking at this, when the fire district was given that land, it had been taken for taxes. When the fire district acquired that 10 acres that they have, at the time, there was no 400-foot zone of influence of the wells. So I think they thought at the time that would be sufficient for a new public water supply well. Unfortunately, that's not the case anymore. Right. So we've been discussing with the fire district the acquisition of 153, and I verified with the realtor that is still available as of today. Yep. The first one.
Now, you have it indicated as protected, and
Well, the 10 acres of fire district are covered under Article 97.
Okay.
It's 150. 153, that's not,
153 is not, nor is any of the others.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Because it had been taken for water, it's automatically protected under Article 97. So we've been discussing with the fire district, and they are interested. In fact, the letter to Lindsay Council went out today for their help in purchasing that, because as soon as that's developed, the possibility of creating a well in this area is gone.
Yeah.
The privately owned parcels, we have no control over, obviously. They're privately owned, and we're not trying to convince anyone to take them for any reason at this point. If they did come up for sale, we would obviously like to see them acquired, again, for water. If you go to the Regional Policy Plan Viewer from the Cape Cod Commission, there's a parcel called A1-53. We have it here on a slide. And it is this tract here. This is actually from the Regional Plan Viewer. And it shows the other two potential well sites which have been developed. This is Samantha Drive, and this is Sister Circle, which actually is in
For
Yarmouth.
that argument when we,
There you go. So this is the last one
Okay.
that's available up in Cummaquid Heights. Now, they did say that this tract here, which is the golf course, could be a well site too, but I don't know that we'd
They
have
won't give
very
that
much
up.
leverage on that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, here what we're trying to do is just reserve it for future.
okay. Are we really concerned about this one? Or are we concerned about both of them?
I think we're concerned about the entire area, honestly. It's 30 acres of woodlot, and it's been woodlot, except for where Ray Cleary cleared to build his house at the very front. It's been woodlot since 1938, according to the photo surveys. It's never been used for anything other than farmland, as far as I know, back in the 1800s. And it was mostly abandoned, I'll say, when Route 6 was built. So it's been sort of fallow since then, and it's all oaks and pitch pines, and I think there's a few swamp cedars in there too. But we have a deer herd. There's also box turtles in there. There's all kinds of things in there.
Yeah.
Box turtles.
Yeah, we actually have, the Mass Wildlife has certified that we actually had one. We sent them photographs of it, and they've certified that there are box turtles in there for what it's worth. The land at the other end, obviously, Steve Heslinger can do what he feels he needs to do. He does have to go through probate to get permission to sell it, which he has not yet done.
Yeah.
It is listed with Cary Commercial for $995,000.
They're doing perk tests today.
Yeah, they were doing perk tests today, that's right. And that's all fine. I mean, he's doing his diligence. But at the same time, it's like, do we really want 4 more or 5 more $1 million houses up in Cummaquid Heights when we don't really think they're necessary? And at the same time, why can't this land be similar to Parcel B on Independence Drive, which the town purchased from the trust when Village Green was built, was developed? So why not do a similar arrangement where the trust gets what it needs for its endowment, which currently is $12.5 million. And this would add another $1 million to that. So why not do something like that if the town would
Can I
consider it?
ask you a question?
Sure.
Is there consideration to, working on creating a bookend buffer? The Cobb Trust and the Fire District land, and allow the parcels in the middle to be, at some point, developed for housing?
Well, if 137 is developed for housing, then the potential of the future water site is gone.
That's a privately owned one.
It is.
Yeah.
137,
Yeah.
which is adjacent to 153. So you need 800 feet to create a well. It's an 800-foot diameter circle. It's possible that if all of the land was designated as potential future water site, it might be possible to put 2 wells in, but that would require the entire thing. But the entire thing was designated under the 1994 USGS survey as potential water source. So, I mean, that's why we're here. We would like to save it all for future, and it's obviously a long-term project because those parcels are privately owned, and it would be nice to acquire them when they're available, but they're not available yet.
I worry, and knowing that I don't think I have a conflict anymore. If I do, I will certainly be told. But, you know, my association with the real estate firm, I do recall that parcel was presented to the town of Barnstable at one time through the community preservation. And
That's 153 you're talking about.
yeah, I'm talking about the
Yeah.
one that says for sale next to the
Yeah.
fire district.
Right.
It's now in the hands of Compass.
Right.
And I think that was probably at the original point of sale would have been something that the town could have considered, but unfortunately, the town wasn't aware of it until it had gone into, it had been bought by Mr. Riley, and then Mr. Riley, I guess, had a conversation with the Cummaquid Community Association and tried to present it to the town as maybe the town could buy it back from Marty Riley. I don't think that went over too well. Farley Lewis is on that committee, so she could tell us more about what happened if you're interested.
Also printed you out the notes from 2 CPC meetings held in 2022, one in November, one in October of that year. Mr. Riley was asking CPC for the sum of $350,000 to to offset his expenses of buying it, and then he was going to put it into a CR. And ultimately, CPC did not move this forward. There was really no interest in getting this to go any further than it already had. So that was the end of it.
Yeah.
When was that meeting? Was that the November meeting, or?
There was a November and October meeting in 2022.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I remember that one, because I was actually on the Zoom call for another reason.
We were too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you remember I was in the, I think
yeah.
I was, I can't remember why, but it wasn't for that parcel. But anyhow, so I'm just bringing that up because I think that might be water over the dam.
Oh, yeah.
We're
This is-
hoping that experience will not taint our application, or actually the fire district's application to the CPC.
You'll be seeing that shortly because the letter went in today.
Okay.
Well, I think, well, like I say, it's water over the dam, so I don't think there's going to be any, nobody's going to look at that and say, okay, well, that already failed, so we're not going to deal with you guys again. But no, that's not what I meant. It's just that I don't think that parcel is in play anymore. That's what I'm saying.
Then 153?
153.
153.
It's now,
I think the fire district one is possible. I think the Cobb Trust one's possible. But I do worry about the two together as far as the other need we have in town, which is affordable housing.
Yeah, unfortunately, this area is not sewered. So
Yeah.
it makes it a little difficult to do multi-unit.
yeah.
Yeah.
it was a very, very strongly felt within the CPC that it was not in an appropriate location for affordable housing, so.
Yeah, but the fact that it has a history of being designated as a potential future water supply
Right.
area, and it doesn't mean that the fire district needs it now, but they have 5 wells, and with all of the growth in the Wilkins area,
Yeah.
the need for an additional well in the near future may come up. And now, just to be clear, no one's done a test well up here. So, but the fact that the USGS has pointed it out specifically.
Yeah.
And it is the last one in the
Well,
area.
Potentially, the fire district is potentially a good partner because the town of Barnstable has partnered with Barnstable Water District before on the Bush Brown property, which is up off of Moshop. And that has been actively used by the water department. But they did come to that table kicking and screaming.
They did.
But, so hopefully, because of the development that you pointed out, there is that recognition that we do need additional wells. And so,
And they're paying attention because you know of the new fire station that they are planning.
Yeah.
And in talking to Dave Mason, who's the chair of the commissioners, water commissioners, and to Sean, the new superintendent.
yeah,
Who
I like
is
him.
doing a terrific job.
Yeah.
They're looking at their master planning more closely. I mean, Sean's only been there for, I think, 11 months now.
Yeah.
And he's already gotten the treatment plant cost down from 20 million to 2.5 through grants and redesign and a lot of things. So he's been very active about his master planning. So this would fit into their master planning, but the trick here is to reserve it.
Yeah. Well, I think we have to, because of the private, we kind of have to work incrementally if
That's
we
correct.
work. So actually, does anybody in the committee have any comments or concerns or questions they want to ask?
I just want to ask, maybe this was answered already, the privately owned properties, has there been any conversation with the owners?
Not yet. 137 is owned by a gentleman who lives in Poland.
Oh,
Go ahead.
He inherited the land from the
Okay.
Cobbs,
yeah,
from Daniel Cobb. We have not had a conversation with him yet.
okay.
Don, you had a conversation with Steve Hesslinger
I did, yes.
about his parcel, which is 87.
Correct.
Yeah.
And he just said that he was going to continue with preparing it for sale.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
that's his job, and that's
Yep.
what he's got
Oh,
to
yeah.
do, so.
His first, ideally, he wants to sell the whole 7 acres and let them develop the 4 lots. Second to that would be individual sales.
Yeah,
Would be
which
open.
makes no sense for you guys, I don't think.
Well, not so much. We'd like to see the whole thing
Yeah,
not come to that point.
Because you'll have roads, you'll have a driveway at least in there if you have any development in there, so.
you'll have more housing that takes away water.
I'm sorry, Farley, I didn't
More
hear.
housing that takes away water, so.
Yeah,
And also the 4 septic systems that'll end up in there.
yeah, because there's no sewer in that area, and will never be,
Right.
so, right?
So we came for your information. We were a little, we always study the agendas to see who's
Yeah,
on
well,
what. And I
my-
understand that there was a little miscommunication
Well,
about it, but
my fault, because, and Jenna will tell you, it was sprung on me. I woke up and said, oh my God, the agenda was due, and I was sitting at work saying, oh, I haven't done the agenda. So I called Jenna, and so we put it together on the phone. And this should have gone into correspondence, and I would have reported that I had correspondence, and then we would have discussed whether or not we'd go forward on that correspondence. But I'm glad you saw it, and I'm glad you came, and so it's a good thing to talk about. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I just want to make a comment. It seems with the history of this area, we're now being given a second chance.
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
We're just being given a second chance now, and thinking of future need and expansion, and seeing how this is the last possible potential position for another well. We have to take it with both hands and really try our best to help protect it for the future.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that you did come here, and this is the place, I think, to start. And also, the fire district is potentially good. And as you know, there's a division between the fire districts and the town. Not a bad division, not a fight, but a division. So we need to communicate with them as well. And I do think that there are members of the administration that have reached out to the fire district. So I think there is some communication going on already. So we'll see where we can go, and we will talk about it and see what we can recommend.
Let us know if you need us to come back, and
Yep.
we're happy to.
Yep.
And we're still getting organized. We only started putting those signs out a month ago.
Well, they're very effective. People have asked me, what the heck is going on?
I've
You know?
gotten phone calls from people, including, I had a nice conversation with Mark Robinson, and he
Yeah.
made some recommendations to me, which I'm following through on.
Which was to call Janet.
Well, that was one of them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, boy.
I know what he said. He said, raise some money and then call Janet.
Yeah.
And we're at that point where we're trying to get ourselves organized to that.
I'm happy to
level.
talk with you. I have some thoughts. There is state money for
You
water
needed to
district.
get by the microphone. Sorry.
I'm sorry, I have to run. There is state funding for water supply protection, so
Yeah.
the fire district, I mean, we can be helpful in sharing those resources with you in the fire district.
Yep, and I have
worked-
some,
Yeah.
some
You'll
grant
get an email
opportunities.
from me, and you can send me what we
Okay.
raise, and
Very good.
we'll start a conversation about this.
Thank you, Janet, for coming.
Hi, Janet.
Bye.
Miss Janet.
Right. So, all right, so, anybody have any other, Kris, this is our town councilor, Kris Clark.
Thank you very much. Have you sent a letter of interest to the Barnstable Water District?
Well, the Barnstable Water District is actually, has written a letter and sent it to CPC.
Okay.
Yes, and there's communication between Lindsay and that entity now.
Want that for the
Yep.
record.
Yeah, I mean, the letter just went in today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Ellen told me she forwarded it to Lindsay.
And I know Gordon, our town councilor
That's
from
right.
your precinct, has reached out to them as well. So,
Okay, so thank you for taking the time to listen to us.
well, anytime, Steve, and so bring your posse anytime.
Nice slides.
That's good.
Not sure what the name of the camera is.
I know, and I think that's going to be desperate for
All right, we're-
them. The new sewer
Nice visual aids. You said you got very nice.
Okay.
These won't go to waste, I'll tell you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for
Making a
coming.
presentation at the Barnstable Water.
All right, so I'm
annual-
looking desperately for the agenda.
Right.
I found one. Okay.
I'm on the fire.
So let's approve bye, Steve, thanks for coming. Let's approve the minutes of March 11th. Has everybody had an opportunity to review those minutes?
Yes.
And if so, is there a motion to accept?
Motion to accept the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, so the one thing I do need to say is that I got to leave here, unfortunately, a little early, 6:45 at the very latest, and Farley has agreed, thankfully, to conduct the meeting should I have to leave, but maybe I won't have to leave. We'll see. I do want to talk about a few correspondence that we've gotten. from, let's see, about, and we can elaborate on these things. One is from Grace Rogers, who had 2 points to make. One was about geocaching, and the other one was about AmeriCorps. The geocaching, she has stated that they are in the final stage of creating a guideline or a policy. And if they have not officially adopted the policy by May 18th, there it is. She would like us to ask Conservation for approval, send them, Conservation, the coordinates of the hiding location, and do not hide these in wetland resource. Would you like to elaborate on this at all?
Very briefly.
Okay.
For the committee's review, this is a geocache. I'm holding in my hand a geocache. It's a, looks like a rusty bolt.
Yeah.
The proposal from the geocaching enthusiasts was to place this on a piece of playground equipment that has been since abandoned at Hathaway's Pond. So I did have some communication with Grace about the new provisional guidelines, and I've let the geocache people know that they can apply for the placement of something like this on an old teeter-totter that's broken down and out in the woods. No one even knows it's there.
You just told everybody where the hiding place
I'm not going to tell you where exactly. I'm sure it'll be still a challenge and a fun for the families that go out and look for it. So it is recreation land, not conservation land. So Grace said yes, apply to John Gleason and not to the conservation folks. So we're closing all the loops and we're moving ahead slowly. And we look forward to the guidelines if and when they finally become available.
Slow and steady.
Get to that.
That's the motto of the town of Barnstable.
But, yeah, so we'll talk about walking weekend and geocaching, I think. Enough.
Okay, yes, when we'll revisit this in a second, Farley, because I do want to talk about Grace's other news is that they have applied for an AmeriCorps volunteer to work with the town 1 day a week and with Barnstable Land Trust 2 days a week. And I'm sorry that Janet had to leave because they're also working with the Land Trust to put together a volunteer stewardship program, of which they had one once.
They did. Yeah.
And in fact,
Fabulous.
people from this committee were members of that committee. And it was successful. And I don't know why.
Faded.
It did fade
Yeah.
during COVID, or?
No, even before then.
Oh.
I mean, there was, Kelly Barber had done all the initial work on it, and I think she was, very energetic about it, but I don't know, it just didn't really maintain its momentum for some reason, and I can't tell you why.
And so now they're re-establishing that?
I think, and maybe even Will Holden.
I was going to say, when
yeah.
Will left, it seemed like you were saying that things had kind of fallen apart.
I think Will had the initial idea, and Kelly followed up on it, and then, at least that's my recollection.
Yeah.
So, anyway, but having an AmeriCorps person available to help, that'd be great.
So, but I think this, getting the committee together is good also, because it looks like they're expanding it a little bit to bring in the public, talking about generally to the community about good land stewardship practices and organizing maintenance days, which is good, volunteer from the community, trailblazing and cleanups, which, we can't, the town has liability issues, so it hasn't been able to do the same kind of
Well, in
work.
the past, I mean, it seems like, Lisa and I did work with the AmeriCorps group previously doing cleanup stuff, and didn't really get a whole lot of other participation, so, yeah.
Well, hopefully, this will be a new start.
That would be great.
So the other news from Grace is that we haven't heard anything from about Santuit Pond. So, but we did, and I don't want to jump over too much, but I do want to get a few things done before I leave. Tracy, we and I did participate in a Santuit management meeting. What was it, about 3 weeks ago, maybe?
6 weeks.
6 weeks ago? Was it that long ago? Yeah. Do you want to talk about it at all?
Yes, I guess so. Let's see. David Anthony chaired the meeting. It was a Zoom meeting. Steve Hurley from the state was there. Dan Kent, the Mashpee Conservation rep, was there.
Yep.
And we talked about, I don't know, we kind of went over everything. We didn't, in retrospect, there were things that we didn't really cover. I was talking with Lev about it. Dan, subsequent to the meeting, he mentioned that there was a bridge across the river down there, and somebody had built it for their kids.
Yep.
And it was actually a very useful structure, in that one could get across the river.
Mm-hmm.
And you could actually kind of walk the loop. But Dan didn't think it belonged there and took it out. My comment to Lev was that I think that we should be advised of these things before they happen.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit weird because most of the land is in Mashpee, and I think he feels that it's his, basically.
Yeah.
But my sense of it is that the state and the town of Barnstable and the town of Mashpee own equal portions of that particular piece of
Yeah.
land and the administration thereof, even though it's in Mashpee. And I think, we might want to let Dan know how we feel about that, and just because I think it would be, it would just behoove everybody to get on the same page, that's all.
Okay. Would you like to put that in writing and send that to me?
I could do that, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you are correct. It's, there are boundary lines between the towns, but it was acquired by all three. All three participated in the purchase, and the management is equally divided.
Yeah.
It's not really, if something has to be done on the Mashpee side, we should be aware of it. And they might elect to do the work, but we should be aware of it.
Yeah, and the other issue is that anytime anything has come up over there that actually needs doing, the town of Barnstable does nothing. They just look in the other direction and say they're too busy. You mentioned it to Mashpee, they got a crew down there in about 15 minutes to take care of it.
That's the advantage of putting stuff in emails and sending it to the entire committee. Because then the responsible person, the person that is going to respond, will respond to the email that they'll take care of it. And it also alerts the town side that they are not doing they're not doing it, that Mashpee is.
But I mean, are we going to send the Barnstable crew over into Mashpee? I mean, it's confusing.
Well, if the work has to be done,
Yeah.
it's up to them to figure it out, who does it. Do you have anything to add, Kris?
No, you mentioned Don Kent. Is there a new conservation agent in Mashpee?
Drew McManus, is that his name?
Yes, he's
Drew's
just,
the agent,
He's the
and Dan
agent.
is his
Dan.
assistant.
Oh, okay.
yeah, and he's the one that's on the committee now because Drew's busy.
Tracy, make sure you talk into the microphone.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that clarification. And yes, all three entities, the two towns and the state, put in an equal amount of money for the acquisition of
They
that
did, okay.
Santuit
Yeah.
Preserve. So you're right.
Yeah.
Barnstable should be notified, not necessarily consulted, as when it comes to action on that whole preserve. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, good.
And it should be, how do I want to say? The thread of communication should go to the throwback of that acquisition, which was in the 90s, I believe.
Well, we had made a decision as a committee, it's not being followed, but we had made a decision that should something have to be done in the preserve, if Tracy saw it or anybody sees that something has to be done in the preserve, it goes to the entire committee. And then the entire committee is aware that there's this issue in the preserve. And so if David Anthony wants to say, we'll handle it, fine. If the town of Mashpee wants to say that they're going to handle it, fine. But at least we know it's being handled. And at least we know that there's been a notification and that people are aware of the issue.
Yeah.
Tree down, wash out of the dam, whatever, so.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff, I think the trees down and whatnot, people just go out and take care of it themselves
Yeah.
with a chainsaw, basically. But
Yeah.
if there's a washout or the pond is leaking into the bog or there's a bridge going up, those are things that should be discussed amongst everybody, I think, before.
I think you're right.
I mean, Steve Hurley doesn't want to hear about it, I don't think, but
Steve, I understand, is
he's retiring. And I'm going to call
So there will
him.
be somebody, and he did say who it was going to be.
Yeah, and we need to get his name so we can follow.
Aaron Best.
I want to follow up on the fish ladder
Yeah,
reclamation thing.
His name is Aaron Best.
Aaron Best.
Yeah, and I'll try to get a contact information. The meeting was April 12th, so
No, it's a month ago then.
yeah. Excuse us. Yeah.
Yeah, Tracy, do you have a status on the herring run? Now that
herring
it's
one-
herring season.
I was down there a week ago, and the river was black with fish there. In that little pool below the ladder, they were just churning. You could see their fins up there, and there were birds everywhere, and they were backed up down the river for 100 yards, too. And on the other hand, if you go up to the pond there, where the fish ladder hits the pond, there not a lot of fish were making it up there. And I could see them going up one step and getting washed back. And, I mean, that's kind of the way it goes. But I'd say it was a successful run. I mean, I don't know. But
Is there a fish count there? Or-
there's some kind of device there that I think the tribe put up, and they administer. I don't think it was the state. I think it was the tribe, and they monitor it, I guess. I don't know what the count. It has to be a counting device. I don't know what else it would be.
Thank you.
Okay. I can't find my notes about Alicia Messier's message. Yeah, good, okay. So this was the other correspondence that I've recently gotten. This is from Alicia Messier about the trail, the walking library, some addition, corrections, revisions that's going on. Apparently, the Conservation Commission wanted language about loitering on the near the railroad track. So I just rolled my eyes. That's terrible. Shouldn't do that on television. And so this is language about no loitering on the railroad tracks for the benefit of the public, and also a correction on the Audubon property line. So what is where's the icon that says that you shouldn't, that is the railroad track warning?
I don't know why it's not there. Showing up there.
That's Old Jail Lane.
Yeah, it's an Old Jail
That
Lane.
little white box, maybe it's displaying something
You
wrong
think
with
that white box?
PDF.
Yeah, there should be
But there's a white box that says
over here.
no loitering or something.
There is,
Yeah,
Remember
because
that?
there's the railroad track.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. All right.
They do have signs up at the railroad.
The railroad track people do?
Apparently, I think that's who put them up.
Are they new signs?
No, they're the old signs that
The ones
somebody
that say no
pulled out.
trespassing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's not good for people that want to walk across the
Yeah.
tracks.
Well, and then like,
Or on the railroad track.
No, loitering is different.
like, I remember like hunters were walking on the tracks too, like out behind where the BLT office is now.
Oh, yeah, people walk on the tracks all the time.
I mean, not like you wouldn't hear the train.
Oh, yeah, you've got it.
Okay, so I hate to tell you, but I have about 10 minutes.
Okay.
And I'm really sorry to do this, and I won't do it very often, but, so I think it's very important that we talk about a big event coming up, which is the walking weekend. Yay, and thank you very much for the lovely brochure.
Yes.
Very nice.
And thank you very much, all you people that have volunteered. You put me to shame. So,
Well, looking forward to a splendid weekend with a great turnout, and, yep, just,
You talk to the microphone.
yep, looking forward to a successful weekend, and hope everybody will take the opportunity to come out and join the walks, and appreciate everybody's efforts to make that happen.
May I ask
Jen.
how the media, has it gone to papers? How's the word been spread?
It's been shared through the town's newsletter and on the town social media and
Okay.
on our website. And I don't know
Okay.
if it's on Conservation's website, but it's on our page.
Okay, so everybody at home should know about that.
I've been distributing these to all our libraries. I've got
Okay.
2 more to distribute tomorrow. I have found in the past, if I give them out too early,
Yeah, they'll forget.
they'll hit the trash bucket.
Yeah. I did bring extra copies of the flyers and the brochures if anybody wants to take some home. Very good.
I'd like to see one on the community bulletin board in Barnstable.
I didn't put one up there?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Okay. I've been putting up other stuff, so. There is one in the post office.
Good,
Oh, that's.
All right.
There's one in Nirvana, or there was,
yeah,
but I should put one in the bulletin board.
yeah.
But if there is an extra one around.
Like maybe 2, because there's 2 sides,
Oh,
right?
okay, because I haven't been there.
Is there a
To Weldon.
Yeah, there's a flyer.
I want to take the,
You want two?
no, I can just take one to put up in the.
I'll take one for the post office near me.
People go to their office.
Yeah.
I'll take
Thank you.
whatever you don't want to give out, because I have a big meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'll pass them out.
All right. I'll give you the whole thing then.
Okay.
Jenna, may I suggest you send it electronically to all the libraries? Because they can post
Sure.
it on their websites,
Sure, yeah.
and BLT as well.
Sure.
Yeah, are they under the events?
Events,
Yeah.
I think the
took,
Barnstable Clean Water Coalition, are they participating?
Yes, they are, and they've got it up on their website.
Okay, good.
Audubon?
Audubon is
Audubon's not, is it?
Well, they came in as a 11th hour entry, so they ended up missing the print, but they're on our
But I'm
website.
saying that I think that the electronic posting, they can sneak that in. They don't need a deadline for that.
Yeah. So do you want to elaborate on any particular, the different walks?
Well,
Some new ones?
New ones? I think there's some new ones.
okay, well, maybe I could use yours.
Some nice birding ones.
Yep,
Yes.
we're
Well,
going
yeah,
to
but
kick it off Friday with the Urban Birding and Nature Walk at Twin Brooks. And then following that, there's the, it's going to be the Barnstable Clean Water Coalition's Walk at 10 o'clock. And I'm doing Crooked Cartway at 2, so big day on Friday. And then Saturday morning, birding with BLT at 7:30. And also at 10 o'clock is the Sandy Neck Spring Walk. And then Lev is doing, also at 10 o'clock, the Four Seas Forest Loop. Then Kate at 2 in that afternoon is going to do a new walk at the Mass Audubon Skunknet River Wildlife Sanctuary. Sunday is geocaching at 9 a.m. and followed by a Meeting House Farm at 10. And then finally, a new walk for us, sponsored by the, this is the Botanical Club of Cape Cod and the Islands. They're going to do a walk in the Otis Atwood property at 2 o'clock on Sunday. So
Very good.
yeah, so
And
that
when's
should be
the
great.
Audubon one?
Well, then the other Audubon one was at Long Pasture, and it's at,
Can pull it up.
What
Can you
day?
pull it up?
Maybe just one day? Do you know what day?
It is Friday.
yeah, Friday was, got jammed.
Friday, 2 to 3:30 p.m. Long Pasture Wildlife Sanctuary.
Oh, I could be, well, too bad I work. Oh, well.
Okay.
So do you have something you want to add? I know you've been very active with geocaching.
Well, just to touch on that briefly, so 9 a.m. at Hathaway's Pond, a couple of the enthusiasts are going to be there with their tables set up and help people understand how geocaching works.
Yeah.
It's great for, people of all ages.
Yeah.
It's a lot of seniors I've seen out when I've been looking at it, because, they go on a trip and
Like
they
how
say.
he looks at me and says that.
No, I'm looking up. But I've enjoyed it with my daughter. She's a very enthusiastic geocaching person. So they're going to explain how it works. It does require you to have some type of GPS device to help you do it. There are 3 geocaches that exist currently at Hathaway's Pond, so those are going to be on the walk as you walk around the pond.
Oh, cool.
They're going to work together and have folks find those.
It's going to be good, yeah.
So, yeah, come on out. You'll have,
Yeah, that'd be
everyone will have fun.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
I do want to thank the town for featuring it in the weekly e-news
Yes.
that went out to those who
I
subscribe to
didn't-
that.
I didn't see it. That's good that they did. Yeah.
that weekly newsletter.
Yep. I'm behind in my emails. So does anybody else want to add anything about the walks?
Thank you, Farley, for setting all of
Farley,
that up
you've
and
been-
coordinating.
No, it's all
think
about
this is a great walk.
everybody offering to help.
Yes, but
That's
you
good.
pull it all together, so, that's very good work. Very good work.
Well, and thanks to Kris for bringing in the Botany Club. That was something out of nowhere. I was very excited about that. That's great.
So,
Yep. So, anyway, I think, are we?
so Farley, do you have anything to add on the community preservation open
Actually,
space?
if I may, it
Yeah.
just occurred to me, for those who are walk leaders, you might want to take a head count so we can report
Sure.
next month on
I usually do a photo.
Yeah, photos would be
Good
good.
idea.
Let's do photos.
And we can post
Right.
it on the website if possible. But there's so many walks this time around that it might be good to have just some record of the reply, or how do I want to say?
Response.
The response, thank you. And if we need to improve on our
Marketing.
PR, marketing, that we can discuss that after the fact. But I think that if we record who came this weekend, we might be able to say, okay, we can track it for the fall and next spring, however it goes. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think the pictures would be nice because it's always good to have new pictures on our website.
Definitely, yeah.
And also for the annual report, when I do that, it would be nice to have pictures
Good idea.
that are not me. So, so thank you. So Farley,
Oh,
can you
yeah,
talk about?
CPC.
Yeah.
There was a letter of intent from BLT, as Janet previewed for us this evening. This is a 5.84 acre parcel Falmouth Road, Katuitt, and the total price of the parcel is $590,000. And they're getting some grant money and so on. Okay, public acquisition would create almost 12 acres of contiguous open space, conserving high-value natural resources and recreation access, as well as protecting nearby drinking water wells. So the town of Barnstable would be granted a CR on the property, and the property will be managed by BLT. And that got moved on to application.
That was moved?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Anything else coming up?
That's it.
Farley, do you think you
Keep
need
an
a
eye
letter
out
of-
for this Cummaquid Woods thing.
Yes.
Farley, do you need a letter of recommendation from this committee from it?
Well, it hasn't come to us yet.
I see, it's just
Yeah, no, it's just starting its way through.
Yeah, we'll be, we're going to have a presentation next time from Janet.
Miss Janet.
Yes, I don't know why. I had a senior moment and couldn't remember.
No, we're not.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than Miss, romper room, right? Miss Janet. Okay.
Okay, all right. Okay, good. All right, I think, I'm.
So
all set.
next thing on the list is Town Council Liaison.
I don't have any update. We've been busy with capital improvement plan and budget season. Thank you.
Okay.
I feel like we skipped some things.
We probably did. What is that we skipped?
I think the most important to me right now is talking about the Cape Cod Pathways Trail Guide for the town of Barnstable.
Oh, please.
So we, as you have heard in past meetings, have realigned the main trail on the property of the Cape Cod Community College and in the Barnstable State Forest behind the YMCA. So it's all signposted. There are the red triangles to guide everybody. And
Did you send
Okay,
that
yeah.
article around that highlighted this project?
I
got
can
it.
send that again. There was an article quite a while back, but
No, it's a recent one.
I sent you a new article about West Barnstable.
Was that, okay,
I'll
all
talk about that too.
right. Yeah, that's the one I want everybody to see.
Okay.
too. I wish I could figure out a way to broadcast that to the town.
Yeah, maybe there's a way. So I'll try to be brief here. I don't know if we want to vote on this today. I think it would be good if the committee becomes familiar with the new update of the guide that's currently posted on our website, that Farley has assisted me in looking at the language and re-editing it to reflect the reality on the ground today. So that's what you're reading here in the document dated May 2nd. Of the trail guide. So I'd be happy to answer questions. I think there is a map on the screen that Jenna can zoom in the area of the college. Might be most helpful.
Do you want to control the Zoom?
Oh, I'll try. Okay, so am I doing this? Whoops, I'm going the wrong way.
Anti-Zoom.
This is dangerous. Okay, so, sorry, guys. Okay, so Barnstable State Forest, we'll just take that as the first part of this. The original alignment of Cape Cod Pathways followed this dotted line here, which was an old road. When the YMCA parking lot was built, it obliterated the trail. There was no trail there anymore. So the Mountain Bike Club, New England Mountain Bike Association, applied for approval from the DCR, from the state, to actually recreate a usable trail, which is named in honor of a former director of the Mountain Bike Club, Philip Keyes. So it's pronounced Keyes, not Keys. So Keyes is the limit. is a trail that has a trailhead entrance at the northwest corner of the YMCA parking lot, follows a new trail that was created more than a year ago, and then an existing trail down to the power lines. So this is kind of the red trail, all signed and blazed, for folks that are traveling a long walk from Sandwich all the way to Yarmouth. You can walk across town if you follow the red triangular blazes. So the routing crosses at the YMCA driveway, which brings you then into this network around the campus. So there is a series of what we call the Forest Loop, which everyone's welcome to join us on Walking Weekend. We'll walk the entire almost 3-mile loop around the entire campus, and it would bring you then to this intersection over here. It's a little hard to see with all these topographic lines in here, but there's this this trail here, which is named Free Fall because there's a big drop and you go up and down on it, over to Old Neck Lane. So that doesn't change. That was always the red main trail. In the Pathways Guide, it shows the red trail starting in a parking lot and people walking along the sidewalk, none of which is marked or blazed. So anybody that was traveling the route historically would come to this Route 132 intersection, follow a road and a sidewalk if they knew what they were doing. But now it's all blazed. So you enter here on this trail and you'll travel clockwise around the circumference of the college.
Here isn't clear to
Here
to
is
people on
here.
TV.
Maybe I can zoom in a little bit.
Point your finger.
See where this trail entrance is right here? Yep. There's a signpost here with a red triangular blaze. The trail is named in honor of the English ivy. It's called Ivy League. We have an Ivy League on Cape Cod. We should all be very proud. And then it connects along the entire periphery of the campus back to that intersection where the old trail originally started. So there's also a south loop, if everyone's familiar with Cape Cod Pathways. Years back, they designated a few little side trips. You could take a north loop or a south loop. So the south loop is here at this, there's actually a crosswalk here at this parking lot number 12. And you can connect from each of these trail segments into this other trail. We saw a red fox, so it's called Foxtrot. So you follow the Foxtrot Trail, and there's some very scenic rock formations in here. That's where I'll be taking my picture. Everyone on top of the big flat rock that's in there, and then continuing on to then rejoin the red trail eventually, because the green is called a south loop. It takes off from the red and comes back to the red eventually. So this is what the write-up is describing, the different trail segments that you would use to follow the red or the green south loop as you travel through this area. So what we'd like is to have people read it, understand it, ask questions, needs clarification, and then finally publish this back to the website, because then it'll reflect what is actually out there, that people will see the signposts and follow the route correctly.
What I'd like to ask you to do is, I'm sure you have this electronically, so if you would give this to me electronically so I can present it to Alyssa Mazer. And there's some.
So you would have this, right? Because it went out in our PDFs.
This document, yep,
Yeah.
I sent those to I can send it to you again.
Okay, yeah, I mean, it's probably, very.
Your collection of.
Yes.
Many,
Collection
many
of.
emails.
Yeah.
But yes, so if you can't find it, let me know.
No, I'll find it. I'm going to send it off to Alicia, and because whatever she has to do to it to make sure that it's.
It's relevant also to our other topics. There were some corrections to the walking library.
Yep.
That are incorrectly showing the old routes.
Okay.
And so.
Have you presented those to her already?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Did she correct them?
But she needs a chain of command. So you are the chain.
I know, but has she corrected them?
No.
Okay, so I remember that.
She
we-
also mentions that her work is on town parcels.
Yeah.
This is a state parcel.
Okay.
So I've tried to reach out to BLT and not heard back, so
Oh.
it's kind of, nobody is really
Okay,
following
well,
up.
we might not have to, well, let me just touch base with her, and if
Okay.
that's the case, then we can just ask that it be put on the website.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that hard, I guess, in my opinion. This layer is available right now on the state's GIS system.
Okay.
So the state is doing very well with updating the trail network, which we thought we're very
Yeah,
thankful
right.
for. Yeah, Mass GIS, which that link, I think you got already? You got it, you have it right here. So that's available to anybody. They can look up the trail network on the Mass GIS.
All right, okay, I'll figure this out. Okay,
And you wanted to talk about one other thing, which was the little news bit about the trail signs that have been now installed and are doing fine in West Barnstable Conservation Area. There's, I don't know if that is something you can pull up on the screen.
I didn't prepare that link. Let me see if
Well, I can talk about it if you find it in the meantime. I think it was Wednesday, a week before this last Wednesday, the New England Mountain Bike Club volunteers went out as part of a grant from Spalding Rehabilitation to create a network for people, not just who are in need because of their disabilities and they need to find their way around, but anybody who's walking or biking or using the area, to give them guidance information about a certain portion of the trail network. So these are the trails that are more gentle and appropriate for people who are, who have disabilities or difficulties or just want a mellow walking, riding experience. So the signs have been put up, and everyone seems to be very, supportive for the most part of having that information. And, we've talked with the fire chief out in West Barnstable and the new fire chief, so everybody seems to be on board, and we'll keep our fingers crossed that nothing befalls
Yes.
the signs.
yeah, well, they're aware, they know who they're going to look at, right? They're aware of that person, all right? I have to go.
Yep.
I have to go, but
Sorry.
You're going to be late.
yeah, we'll give you the backstory in a minute. Farley, would you take over?
Do you want me to-
And I think we're pretty much done,
Yeah, I
but,
think so too. So,
maybe we can just.
yeah.
Yes, go ahead, Chris.
Sorry, I have
That's why we were
a
approached.
quick message, because I'm not sure, I just
we're
tried to
gonna
look
be
this up
building
for
You can make a,
confirmation, but there's a proposed expansion of the park and ride at the Route 132 area.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that might impact the trails that way.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm just read
Put
that.
that on back burner.
Right, I
That's the
heard that
state-
it's tabled due to design
Yeah.
concerns.
the original part.
The expansion of the park and ride at Route 6
Oh, it's being
may.
tabled?
Yeah, it's been tabled. No
But I'm
money.
just saying, we should be aware of how that might impact the trail
future.
that way.
Yeah, I would love to embellish on that topic. In my previous role, looking at transportation network as a whole, there's an existing trail that kind of, it's not like a trail anybody really wanted, but people have been using it to get to the park and ride lot from the college, right at the stoplight. And it's not really a safe crossing there.
Understood.
But it's the shortest trail.
And
to
I think
get-
that's why it's
so if-
tabled.
If kids want to go get their Whopper or whatever, or if they're getting off the Plymouth and Brockton and want to get to the campus, it's the shortest distance. So what I had originally sketched up in the old days was, well, what if we fix this whole intersection where you had pull-off for the RTA, so they could then drop people off without having to go around the entire loop. Right now, we have a bus system, Cape Cod, right? They've been doing a great job, but a lot of it's a challenge because to drop people off on the campus, they're forced to do the entire loop. And then the people who are on the bus that want to go to Barnstable Village, have been sitting on this long
Sure.
journey.
Yep.
So if there was a drop-off, a safely constructed drop-off at that vicinity, people can then walk into the campus, get on the local bus, go over to the Burger King, get on the intercity bus, all that could happen. So I
Intercity.
was going to try to write up my ideas from what I remember from the old days to try to pursue that.
You should probably explain your old days.
Oh, my old days, I was a transportation engineer at the,
Yes, and
at the,
we
at the Cape
discussed.
Cod Commission.
We discussed doing a light at that intersection.
Well, the crosswalk would
Thanks.
actually be at the upper intersection at the YMCA,
Yeah,
where it
The
seems
other-
like it could have a lot of synergy with trail users, as well as perhaps somebody's dropped it off at the Y, and then their kids want to go play tennis at the college and
Yeah.
come back and forth.
yeah, yeah, and that's a dangerous intersection. People speed through there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Yep. So
We're going to adjourn anyway.
we're going
Yes.
to adjourn anyway, so why
There-
don't you just...
Any other business? Okay, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Well, I didn't make that motion, but that's okay. I was asking for that motion, but, okay, that's good. That works.
Take a vote.
Yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Good.
Okay.